Hello, hello. Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday, the 5th of August. Happy birthday, Harlow. My little grandbaby is one today. What a nice day. I wonder if she's going to have an Aries moon or a Taurus moon. I'll have to have a look at her chart. I reckon Taurus, because I just saw a post and Emily was saying that she's a foodie. I was like, oh, that's so cute. All right, so how are we showing up today? I had to have a little giggle this morning because we had our like little social event last night where we got to dress up and have dinner, and I went to bed late. I had wine. Good morning, Simone. How are you? So yeah, I went to bed late. I had wine and I showed up this morning when I was just like, oh my God, I feel so hairy. I don't want to be doing that anymore. I had a fabulous time and I was out of there by 9:30, but I know that I was still awake at 11 and I just can't do that anymore. Good morning, Emma. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see her. I won't get to see them until Friday, but such a little cutie munchkin. And I was thinking about you last night because you had the full dry July. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. You just have more fun when you're away, don't you? And so, yeah, I think I need to woo down. I've only had like, I don't know, not even a handful of wines, but this person is like out of practice. All right, anyway, let's get into the day. All right, so we currently have the moon in Aries. All right, so we've still got a little bit to get up and we can go, a little bit of initiation, but it does move into Taurus at 12:36 p.m. So we're just sort of going to calm down a little bit after that. All right, Mars ruling the moon or dispositing the moon is still in Gemini. So, conversations can be a little bit wordy. And I wonder if that is because maybe we're showing up as a bull at the gate or we're showing up calm and centered. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Helen. How are you? All right, so I'll read the words and then I'll go through the aspects. All right, so how are you showing up in your life right now? Bull at a gate or quiet, calm confidence that has you seeing through the acts of others or through the acts that other people are putting forth. All right, so observe before you pass judgment. Someone just maybe just holding up a mask from fear of being seen for who they are, and the truth will unfold as the day progresses. All right, so again, when we don't pass judgment, I was just talking about this to the ladies that I was having breakfast with. If you can just sort of stand back and, everything is a scale, like, politically, neurobiologically, like everything is there is no, this is exactly it. There's, everything's got a sort of fluid, not just black and white with 50 shades of gray. So again, not passing judgment because you really know what that other person is going through or feeling at the time? Like this morning at 9 a.m., the moon in Aries, like I said, Mars is in conjunct Venus in Virgo. All right, so there is some sort of adjustment required. Now, Venus is in Virgo is calm. All right, she's simple and slow, and she wants the good life where she's eating good food. She's in a calm environment. Like I said, she's in her forest hut with her herbs and her cats. She's got her beautiful flowy organic cotton bamboo gowns on because, she's feeling a little bit sensitive at the moment. So, maybe she's quite reactive to outside environments being toxins and even just toxic people. You can be very like, back away slowly, like don't invade my calm. So I wonder if that moon in Aries, which is quite passionate and wanting to speak up for itself, and Venus is just like, oh, fuck, hang on, calm down, buddy, calm down. All right. So again, how are you showing up and how do you want to be remembered? All right. Remember writing something somewhere this week about, first impressions are hard to change. So just sort of going into, especially if you're going into a new situation. So just remember that, you know, your first impression on someone that you might want to think of you in a positive fashion is based on you actually, putting yourself in that situation first off. So you might just walk into a room and everyone's arguing. All right, just stand back, observe, and see what's going on. Good morning, Christy. How are you? All right. Now, the next one we have is the moon at 12 o'clock, which is still in Aries because the moon moves at 12:30. It's a watch and wait, or a watch and follow type of energy. All right. So we've got the moon sextile the north node. So it's an opportunity to move in that right direction. All right. And then that's trine the south node. All right. So where you would normally sit in a situation, it might not be where you actually want to go. So watch, wait, see what again, what's everybody doing? Trust that intuition, and let the your inner GPS, or your intuition guide you to the right experience. Good morning, Mikkel. How are you? All right, so that was at 12 o'clock. Now at 2 o'clock, Moon conjunct Chiron. Oof. All right, so now we have Chiron freshly retrograde yesterday morning. All right, so we've got the Moon in Taurus, which just wants comfort, security. It's about values, and that parasympathetic nervous system, being ruled by Venus. Like I said, she's in her simple, easy, calm house, ready to move, or she's packing up her house, ready to move into Libra on Friday. So her sabbatical is almost over, all right? But you've got this vast amount of Venus in Virgo experience to work with, all right? So Moon in Taurus conjunct Chiron in Taurus retrograde, all right? We have this opportunity to heal within, all right? We're just allowing what is important to us to lead our way. Okay, so that's at 2 o'clock. Now be careful here, because I did just read something, and especially if the Mars in Gemini triggers something, or like it might put in a seed of discontent. All right, we've still got this Uranus in Gemini stuff happening, because Venus is starting to make all of these connections now. So Venus in Gemini, which is giving us the ability to change our thoughts and perspectives and give us new shiny ideas. But Uranus also rules rebellion. All right, so I'm just sort of wondering if that discontent that we have at 9 a.m., that unsettled Venus feeling, we might just have like a speck of sand. All right, so think of a pearl. A speck of sand, one word can breed something that becomes an irritant. All right, so watch for those morning words. Allow these things to be adjustable. Watch and follow at midday. All right, because we've got that nodal path happening. 2 o'clock Chiron. Let's hope it's a healing opportunity. And those strong feelings don't turn into 7 p.m. square to Pluto. All right, so these are strong feelings that are coming up. Again, it's a watch and follow and wait and assess type of energy happening. Again, like I said with the words, are you going to be at a bull at a gate, or are you calm and confident? All right, so observe before holding up judgment. Try and see through the BS. That walk into a room and read the room carefully. All right, trust that intuition. So 7 p.m. Moon square Pluto. Then we're moving on to after 2 o'clock, the moon starts to square Jupiter. All right, so Jupiter can also make these things a square. There's tension. Jupiter in Leo, which is he's probably could possibly be walking into the room with an overinflated ego, again, because he doesn't want people to see him for what he truly is. Good morning, Johnny. How are you, darling? I'm so sorry I didn't reach out to you the other day and say happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Mwah. All right, so now again, Sun trine Saturn. All right, we're consistently just trying to do better for ourselves, and isn't that just our lives? All right, we are just consistently trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing, so our path forward and the people around us is having the best possible experience, and not engaging in the drama. Again, like I said earlier, First impressions are so hard to change. So we're trying to be all like self-aware and, projecting our best foot forward. But sometimes if we're in the feels, we're like, fuck that shit, I'm angry. Maybe we unintentionally trigger someone with this Mars in Gemini, and we're like, oh my God, that was not my intention. But like the stone in the pond has already been dropped. All right. Once we say things, let's release that stone. The ripple effect, it's out of our control. We can only then mitigate the ramifications. All right. So now, Mercury not doing anything. Now, he is 5 days away from moving into Leo. I'm so looking forward to that. And like I said, Venus is now starting to come to the point where she's making all of those outer planet connections. All right. So she is trine Uranus in Gemini. All right. So slow down. She's in a simple state. She doesn't want complicated, shiny, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I will gradually shift my opinion based on the facts, Virgo. I will analyze until I move into my own house. She's going to move back into her palace, but her sabbatical has taught her a lot. A queen must be able to, confidently allow herself to rule with the facts, by being fair, by being true. Okay. So she's also now moved into her opposition to Neptune. She can be very swayed, all right, but again, Neptune just gives us an illusion or a delusion. And if we are, strong within ourselves, again, we can read a room and see the masks that other people are holding up, because our antenna, we allow the universe to give us the thoughts that go, consider this, consider that, allegedly, possibly. It's not a black and white thing. There are, like I said, 50 shades of grey to sort of consider until the facts start rolling out. All right. And also she's trine Pluto, and Friday morning, she makes that in conjunct. All right. So adjustment required. Two people are talking a different language. I've known quite a few people that have, entered relationships with people that don't talk the same language, but they get there, whether it's, eyes or hands or slow, meaningful words that they're trying to, elicit or explain what they're truly feeling, but it doesn't necessarily have to be language. So Venus is making those adjustments to her path forward based on, this intuitive, grounded feeling. Okay. Now, I have to say that with astrology, there are things called true nodes or true and mean. All right. So mean is the average of something. True is where it's actually at. The nodes. I thought they had moved into Leo and Aquarius, but yesterday I was sort of told no, they're still in Pisces and Virgo. So I'm just going to say they're on the border. We're at this shifting place. Good morning, Louise. I don't have coffee to cheers you, so chink. It's an imaginary coffee today. So again, like here's me going, oh, I thought they had moved, but no, here we are. We're straddling, and all of the astrology is sort of indicating this. We're straddling two worlds or two experiences. So where are you in this place? Again, we're like, oh, I thought I was going to go there, but now I'm looking at this thing, and that's actually colored my decision. So, watch and follow with the nodes at around 12 o'clock. That 2 o'clock with Chiron. Are you going to be internally offended, or are you going to just sort of look at it for what it is? It's a potential for a wound, or it's a potential for healing. Chiron's retrograde. This is based on what you feel inside. Again, I was just reading I was reading an apology from someone that I admire. They'd said a word, and woke culture grabbed that word and went, "You're just cancelled now," or "How dare you say that?" It was a word said between two people that were friends. you don't get to pass judgment on that, okay? Again, he's issued an apology, and you know that person is just such a sweetheart. Would never call somebody that in to their face in the real world. And again, so it's like, don't pass judgment on things that that again, cancel culture. What do you feel in the moment? Again, watch. Maybe someone's holding up a mask because they're scared to show their authenticity. Maybe they're not quite sure which side of the fence they're straddling. I was just saying to someone downstairs, I'm a fence sitter. You know, um, I I will I will pass judgment knowing that situations change, people evolve. The road is not straightforward. There's always things to consider. So this is going to be one of those days. And like I said, the moon moves into Taurus at 12:36. So here's where we're like in Mars in Gemini. You can sort of tell that here I am, and I'm like, meh, 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 meh. The moon moves into Taurus, being ruled by Venus in Virgo, and she's like, calm the fuck down, buddy. All right, let's just look and assess. Let's have a look at the data. Let's see what are the practical realities of this situation. So if the morning is very revved up, hopefully for you at lunchtime, you'll be able to reconnect with yourself and just sort of go, all right, hands off. There's more to this. So that's pretty much it. Again, I don't have cards, but there is things unfolding. Again, watch for that 7 p.m. I say, sorry, I'll go back. So 9 o'clock. Venus is, she's weighing things up with that inconjunct. It's like that seesaw. Brace your core, all right? Be authentic to what you know is true, okay? Venus is very simple. It's a watch, follow, analyze, don't pass judgment. Strong feelings are likely to be coming up. If you're unsettled this morning, slow down, simplify, and just be present within yourself, and don't bleh, because like that pebble, once those words are released, you can't stop that ripple effect. So that's me. Oh my God, 17 minutes. Wow, I talked really long there. I was like, oh, have I got enough to say? I obviously do. So, hope you have a fabulous day, ladies and gents. And I will see you tomorrow, which is going to be the moon square sun. So, remain calm. There are changes going on, is the first line of tomorrow. So, again, just remain calm. Don't mouth off. It'll all be okay. Mwah. See you later.